What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we're in for a little treat. Because my friends over at Rev have released some new anniversary editions of their famous G3 and G4 distortion pedals, and today we're gonna feel them up, feel them out. I'm uncomfortable, quick cut to the intro. Alright guys, hope you're doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and welcome to Belligerent Studios. What I do is I take all sorts of awesome high-gain related guitar equipment, record it with a simple setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into Easthander thrash riffs, dropsy hardcore riffs, and 36-year-old dudes that go on candy binges and are going to have a sugar crash in the middle of this video, you're in the right place! Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on your way out so I can afford my inevitable trip to the ER. Thanks! Alright guys, so today, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, it's a good day because any day that we have Rev here on the channel is a great day by me. Today we are checking out the new anniversary versions of Rev's famous G3 and G4 distortion pedals. If you guys are not familiar with the G3 and the G4, I have the original versions up on the board so that we can do a direct little comparison and you guys can see if you already have these pedals, whether it's worth you spending the money on the new versions or just keeping the good old things. That'll work. But yeah, the G3 and G4 are essentially Rev's purple channel and the red channel from their famous generator amplifier line. With the purple channel or the G3 being more of a compressed, very modern, very tight sounding distortion, and the red or the G4 kind of being more of like a big, thick wall of sound, big fat mama distortion. And honestly, I really feel like these are the pedals that put Rev on the map for most players because the generator amplifiers are a little bit more on the expensive side, but these pedals at 230 bucks a piece became extremely popular pretty much right when they were released because Rev did a fantastic job of taking the actual feel and tone of their big expensive generator amplifier and putting it into these little boxes. And recently Rev released a new version of the Generator 120 Mark III, a revision B, and basically what they did is they listened to customer feedback, people who were using Rev amplifiers and telling them things that they would like to hear as far as like tonal differences and stuff, and they went ahead and they made a revision B in order to give their customers exactly what they wanted, which I think is incredible. So to go along with that revision B, they have released these anniversary version pedals, and they essentially aim to capture the differences in the voicing between the Rev B and the Rev A, which is what the older pedals were based off of. So I think that's all that needs to be said about these pedals, and it's time to actually jump into the tones in comparison. But before we do that, there's something you guys should know. I have a confession to make. This is a sponsored video. Rev have actually sent these pedals in order for me to make this video for you guys and share it with you on the channel, and Sweetwater have agreed to sponsor it. So if you find yourself wanting to pick up any of these pedals or any of the other great Rev pedals, including the G8 Gate, which is currently on my pedal board, or you're feeling really froggy and you want to jump into a Rev generator 120 Mark III Rev B, try telling people that's what you're using live. Make sure to head over to the fine folks at Sweetwater using my affiliate link because they are the best in the business at what they do. Hit up my man Ian Hawes if you don't have a sales engineer because he's a fellow hardcore homie and he always takes great care of me. And pick yourself up some fine Rev gear if you like what you hear. And if you don't like what you hear, just tell me to cram it up my cram hole down in the comments. But yeah, full transparency, this video is sponsored, so feel free to take everything that I have to say with a massive grain of salt. You're more than fair to do so, but just know you're gonna get my honest thoughts and opinions like you always do. So with that being said, for the intro tones that you guys heard, we were just plugging straight into these pedals. The pedals were going into my Quilter Tone Block 202 solid state power amplifier, and then that is going into my Mesa 412 traditional cab with the vintage 30s in it, SM57 on the V30, no post-processing on any of these tones. And yeah, real quickly, let's just go ahead and revisit those tones that we had. Guys, so I noticed immediately when switching back and forth between the pedals, there is a pretty noticeable difference. And I'll say it's even more noticeable on the purple channel. The purple channel, as far as the anniversary version goes, is just like, it's everything that I kind of wished that the original purple sound was on the Rev generators. They were always just so close to being like an amazing, amazing sounding amplifier, but there was a little bit of a lack of a top end aggression and upper mid aggression, and there was a little bit too much in the low mids to basically get that channel exactly where I wanted it. And now, honestly, the anniversary version of the G3 is exactly what I would want. Plugging straight into this, I don't need a boost in order to tighten it up and to get the aggression out of it. It sounds perfect, whereas the older version was a little bit too round and not all that aggressive, but this is also considering that we are in the red aggression mode on these pedals. All of the generator pedals and the gain channels on the generator amps themselves have three-way aggression switches, and red is kind of like the most compressed, the tightest, the most nar, if you will. Am I one of the children yet? In the middle position on these switches, that's kind of like a neutral position, and then in the top or the blue position on the aggression switches, it's kind of where it's the most mellow. So we're gonna explore all those here in a second, but yeah, purple pedal, the differences I thought definitely moved it in the right direction for me. Now on the red pedal, I feel like the G4 anniversary is a little bit less noticeable in the differences. Some of the same stuff applies. It is less rounded, especially in the lower mids, and it's a little bit more aggressive in the upper mids. And honestly, I'm undecided on which one of these that I personally like better at the moment because it seems like it changes every time I switch between them. Man, it's tough because while I do like some of the changes on the anniversary pedal, it's a little tighter, it's a little less round sounding, I feel like it kind of lacks the mid bark that the original has. So if you have always liked the original and you wanted it to be maybe a little bit more direct sounding while still sounding huge, and you want some of those mids carved out, then I think that the anniversary version might be the one for you. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna switch these all back into the neutral position now. and we are gonna put bass and mid at noon, and we are gonna have the treble dimed on all 4 of these pedals. The reason for that is these are really more distortion pedals than they are preamp pedals. They're meant to be run into like a clean channel or a power amp that has some sort of a presence control. So just keep that in mind if you're purchasing one of these for the first time. So yeah, we are now on the neutral aggression setting on all 4 pedals. So once again, the anniversary version of the G3 is still my favorite. It just sounds the most complete out of the box, meaning I feel like I have to do the least amount to it as far as additional EQing and putting an overdrive in front in order to get what I want out of it. And finally, we are on the blue aggression switch. So as you can hear, still clear differences across the 4 pedals. One thing that I like about the blue mode, especially on the pedals, is the blue mode is bigger and fatter, and it actually takes overdrives a little bit better, in my personal opinion. And another thing that I have noticed in the differences between the anniversary and the old boys here is the anniversary pedals seem to have a little bit natural, less compression in the front end, and they seem to have more of a range on the gain dial. So as you guys have probably seen throughout the video, I've had the gain higher up on the anniversary pedals than I have on the old pedals, and that's just because they have more of a range of gain, but also it seems like it lends itself to taking an overdrive better. So we are actually gonna kick on an overdrive so I can demonstrate to you the goods. All right guys, Boss SD1 on in front of all 4 pedals. Here we go. Man, every time I get back over to the G3 pedal, the anniversary version, I just don't want to stop playing. Like, I really, really like how that pedal sounds. It's taking an overdrive very well. In fact, all 4 of the pedals took an overdrive really, really well in that blue aggression mode. Let's now flip it down into the center mode real quick. Same overdrive on. so that was the neutral version or neutral position of the aggression switch on all 4 pedals with an overdrive in front, and I think all of them took the overdrive just fine, man. I'm gonna be honest, I'm favoring this one, you guys know that, but I also am really just liking the way that the G4 sounded, which the first time around when I demoed these pedals at the very beginning of my channel, I really liked the G4 then too, because it just had a nice balance of everything, especially with an overdrive in front. So last but not least, let's grab a down-tuned guitar and basically turn that overdrive off and see how tight and aggressive each one of these pedals can get in the red mode just by themselves. All right, guys, I have my Balaguer Espada Silver Burst 27-inch baritone here with the Hypernova pickups. These are a modern, very tight, articulate sounding ceramic pickup, and we are going into the G4. We're gonna go right across the line in drop B, I think, or drop A, something, I don't know. Guys, that is gonna do it for me today on the Rev G3 and G4 anniversary pedals, as well as the original G3 and the G4. You guys have heard my opinions because I wouldn't shut up about them throughout this entire video, but now it's your turn. I'm curious what you guys think of not only the new anniversary versions of the G3 and the G4, but the old versions. After listening to the comparisons in this video, which ones do you like best? Which ones do you think suit your style the best? And honestly, if you have the G3 and the G4, do you think the anniversary versions are worth picking up based on the differences in these videos? I'm actually genuinely curious to see who is gonna pick up the new versions when they already have the old versions and what your reasoning would be for that. And if you are gonna pick up these pedals or basically any other guitar gear related thing, I'm falling apart. Again, please make sure to use my Sweetwater affiliate link if you want to support the channel, because using those affiliate links actually goes a long way in allowing me to do more cool stuff like this for you guys here on the channel. And I very much appreciate everybody who has used that affiliate link or any of my other links or supported the channel in any way, such as hitting the like button on your way out and subscribing if you're not already subscribed. That's gonna do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.